Welcome, everybody. My name's Kevin from Music with Flavor, where we bring you the latest and greatest in music industry advice. Very happy today to have a special guest to talk about some key considerations when it comes to international music distribution. So without further ado, I'd like to give a warm welcome to Juri Kobayashi. All right.
Hey,
So Juri, how are you doing today?
I am doing good, thank you.
That's awesome. So where are you hailing from, Juri?
Right now, I'm in the office of Jyväskylä in Finland.
Awesome. Yeah. So with this discussion, like I said, we're just hoping to go through some topics related to distribution and help our viewers learn more because I think this is a pretty interesting topic that not everyone considers.
Mhm.
I know we know of music distribution in the general terms, but from an international standpoint, could you maybe discuss a bit about what Musicinfo is for the viewers who don't already know?
Yeah, Musicinfo is a digital music distributor. We focus mainly on China, and what we try to do is find opportunity in these new music markets for mostly independent musicians and labels to find a new audience for their music.
So in terms of services, so if I'm trying to get my music, to maybe like a Spotify or are those platforms, that's a little bit different, right? It's not
Yeah,
something that you
so
guys
why
necessarily,
China?
yeah.
China it's a closed market, meaning that Spotify, most streaming services are not available in China. So if you have your music on Spotify, you might think
Mhm.
that your music is in China, but it's not. And also with social media as well, as if you are trying to promote your music or your artist image, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, it's not in China. So you have to find
Okay.
these other channels to get your,
Push your music.
yeah, to push your music.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys deal with distribution in China, and then on top of that, would that be other promotion
Yeah,
and
we
stuff
do
like that
promotion
too
as
that you deal
well.
with? Yeah.
So it's like paid promotion posts to Weibo and WeChat are the main
Okay.
platforms in China. It's kind of like your Twitter and Facebook outside of China.
Right.
Once your music is streaming live in China, then it works the same in there in China as well as outside. You have to stream your music and then promote it, and then you have
Oh,
your we also do video promotion as well. So it's not just
right.
social media, and then
Mhm.
you tie them all together so that you can find the biggest reach to your potential listeners.
Right. Okay. Would you say that there's a lot? So, like in obviously North America and stuff like that, you have so many distributors that are
Yeah.
popping up in terms of getting yourself on those typical platforms or DSPs. Would you say that in China there is a lot of competition, like amongst companies like yourselves, or is there a lot smaller pool to pick from when it comes to that?
Well, just recently, I think that the bigger distributors have picked up on China. And so most distribution offers some kind of distribution to China.
Right.
That being said, there are, everyone's probably heard of Tencent. So Tencent Music
Yes.
Entertainment,
Yeah.
they have three streaming platforms, QQ, Kuwo, and Google.
Hmm.
If they don't distribute to Tencent, then they distribute to NetEase, which is the second
Okay.
biggest streamer there, or both of them.
Right.
So there is, I think, a lot of competition now because if you were to use Music Info, you're not going to get your music distributed worldwide. It's only to China.
Right.
So you would have to
Right.
complement your distribution with some other distributor that also distributes to the other territory.
Got you, got you. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, that makes sense. I've heard of Tencent, and but I didn't quite realize the extent of how many platforms were actually out there. Because yes, like you're saying, I have noticed some companies are offering like, hey, we do promote or get your music to some platforms in those areas, but it's usually like a small list of platforms there. So
Yeah.
I did notice that you guys do get the gamut of it when it comes to that side of things, right?
Yeah, well, what Music Info offers is not only the mainstream services, but we have a host of like smaller music and media services that like is about 50 plus services where your music could be utilized or monetized somehow. Either it's like a satellite or internet radio, and we found that a lot of our customers benefit from those smaller services than they do from the mainstream, where you're putting your music out in the competition with all the rest of the mainstream artists. So that's, I think, where we have the extra benefit that we can offer to people who distribute through us.
Okay, so what's another form of promotion that you guys are able to help artists with?
We can get your music on playlists on NetEase. We work with influential private owners of playlists on NetEase, and so if you like to have an extra boost for your music, then this is a good option that I don't believe anyone else offers.
Okay, perfect. In terms of that, so is this like not to go down to brass tacks on like commissions or anything like that, but if I'm an artist, and I think that's the whole kind of mantra right now is, own your masters, things like that. Would you say, like, if I'm an artist coming to work with Musicinfo and I'm paying for your service, am I getting hit with a commission fee on top of that too? Or how does that kind of structure out? Because at the end of the day, you guys are providing a service and doing something for the artist too, right? So how does that kind of structure play out?
Yeah, the way we have it set up is that it's just an initial entrance fee. So once you pay for your access to the distribution platform, is any royalties that we collect from the streaming services there, we pay 100% to the artist. So we don't take a commission at all.
That's awesome. Okay. I know a lot of artists kind of get, that's a big thing for them if if they're going to move forward with a platform. So yeah. And I know that we've been thinking about going, or at least maybe offering some kind of commission possibility, because for some artists, it is a jump, kind of a leap of faith almost, that they want to distribute to China. And so if there is like a commission opportunity, try it out for a year, and then, we take a percentage of whatever that maybe we might get more or be able to offer that kind of service to the artists that may think that it's too expensive or is not quite ready to, I guess, make that jump.
Yeah. But at the time being, it seems to be working just fine.
That's perfect. Perfect. In terms of so an artist, most of my audience would be North American, US, Canada, maybe. In terms of that, me as an artist, maybe putting out my music on another platform, like say TuneCore or CD Baby or something, it kind of seems like in turn you're saying I would have to now latch on to Musicinfo as well. So could you speak to maybe some of the benefits as opposed outside of just, we can, promote your music, or get your music on platforms in China? I'm just seeing, as an artist, have you seen things where people have broken through in those markets from other areas and things like that, and had maybe more of a, more traction down there as opposed to where they are locally, kind of thing?
Yes, like I said before, what we found is the smaller services that the music has been picked up. And we have had a fair number of artists who, they've tried to get their music noticed in, outside of China, and haven't really gotten much traction there. And then distributed through us, and their music has been picked up, and they're getting paid. Those are the success stories, and that is possible.
Yeah. In terms of those platforms, are they working similar? I'm not familiar with them personally, just to be honest, but are they working similar to the Spotify's or, your Apple Music in that sense, but just over there? Because I get what you're saying. Over there, there's no Spotify. I can't just, download that app over there. So those apps are pretty much identical in a sense, or is there other features that they provide that, is kind of different in our realm?
Okay, so you're talking about the user experience.
The actual user, the DSPs and stuff like that. So if I'm using Spotify here, I know I have Spotify for artists. I have all that. I'm just wondering if those are just pretty much splitting images, just different companies and names, just providing music to, the end user, or...
No, the difference I think is that there's a lot bigger social aspect that's intertwined or interweaved in the Chinese streaming services. So take NetEase, for example, where you, as a listener, can leave
Hmm.
comments on all the songs.
Okay.
And as an artist, you can read those comments and,
Right.
interact with your listeners, where the music is at. So,
Right. Right.
that's just one aspect that I think is really missing from Western streaming services is that it's kind of you distribute your music to Spotify and then you just wait and see if you're going to get streams or not. But to get
Right.
kind of interaction, you're going to have to look to social media to get that.
Right. Okay. So just more like a one platform approach. I can actually interact with my audience and actually kind of get to know who they are as opposed to, oh, there's someone out there listening to my music, but who is that person? And, I might have to go to another platform like social media
Yeah,
essentially to kind of,
yeah,
okay, I see what you're saying.
yeah,
That's cool. Yeah. Cause I've heard of, I don't think this is streaming. I don't know if it has it intertwined. Is it WeChat?
yeah.
Um, that is over there. Does that have a streaming aspect to it or from music side or no? Is that
Well, WeChat is it's kind of a multi-purpose application. You can pretty much do everything on it. So
yeah.
it is mainly a messaging app, but you can do your shopping on it,
Right, right.
and a lot of applications require that you have a WeChat account. It's kind of
In order to
yeah. If you have a Facebook account, then you can log into other sites based on your Facebook profile. WeChat is
right.
kind of works the same way. So
Hmm.
you could be listening to your music, you could be shopping at the same time, messaging your friends, sharing the
Right.
music. So it's really much more like a virtual world there. That
World.
yeah, yeah, and
I,
what I understand is a lot of the Chinese population spends a lot of time on WeChat.
that
Yeah,
makes sense. That makes sense.
yeah.
Um, what would you say is like a common myth, I guess, about the market in China or, what you guys do at Music Info that you would like to debunk, if you would say? Yeah.
I think there's still this idea that in China there's a lot of piracy, and that artists, if you send your music there, that it's going to get stolen and you're not going to get paid for it. Where
Hmm.
that it's just not true. And or copyrighted music that is used illegally. You look anywhere in the world. Um,
Right.
the way that it differs from, I guess, the Western world is that to collect your royalties, if you have your music streaming elsewhere, you would have to be a part of a performance rights organization or
Right.
multiple sound exchange if you want your digital music royalties from your digital music streaming. It was Terry Fox from or Harry Fox from the if you have your
Yeah.
cover songs or whatever, and they take care of collecting your money and then divvying out to the artist,
Distributing it out. Yeah.
divvying out to
Yeah.
the artist, right? So
Right.
with digital streaming music in China is that there is no organization like that. So it's
Hmm.
really controlled by the streaming services. They're the ones that collect the royalties or the from the listeners and
Right.
pay it out to the artists, and that's where
Right.
a service like Musicinfo comes in, is that we collect those royalties and then pay them out to the artists. Uh,
Right.
so if there is piracy happening, it's bad for business,
Right.
right?
Exactly. Right. Right.
So the way that it is, music is utilized, in streaming apps, is that there's everything is it was controlled. Everything can be seen, where the music is used, where and who is using it.
Right.
So there's very little leeway that you can really use
Get
music
around.
legally, and so that is something that it often comes up, but it seems I think that people are understanding more that China is more or less on the same playing field as the rest of the world when it comes to the terms of music security and copyright.
Like you're saying, like that can happen anywhere. I mean, especially now with technology. I think you think of like some of these beat sites where you can go buy a beat and things like that, or even I look at like Clubhouse and stuff like that, like how people will just share their music, you know, without and not have it copyrighted or whatever it might be. Someone can just listen to that and just, you know, take that idea and concept and run with it. So
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. It's not just one specific area that, okay, if I'm dealing with China, I'm only dealing with piracy issues there. I get what you're saying from that standpoint.
Another point that I just want to say is that we got a lot of artists who get their distribution plan and they say they want to test the waters. So they distribute an album or a single, or usually it's just like a single or two, and then let it run for a year and then see if it's something that they want to invest more in. And more often than not is that they come back disappointed because, well, they haven't actually done the legwork to in their own platforms. Like they might have their music on Spotify, they might have it on some other streaming service. If they do, then there's no bio, there's no they don't have a website, or their social media is lacking, or so it's really difficult to find their profile or their music. And then they come in and, you know, distribute to us thinking, oh, China is this, you know, get quick rich possibility.
But
the reality is it's no different. Is that you have to put the work in, and you know, even then it really depends on the listeners. You know, do they like your music? And of course, you know, promotion helps a lot as well. So
No, that makes sense. It comes down to obviously the branding, the push, the overall foundation of everything, and not just thinking it's a quick fix, like you're saying.
Yeah.
You did mention the money, though, which that interests me in terms of, so obviously with things like Spotify, people are always like, oh, what they pay out and things like that. So is there, you know, is it a bet more in favor of the artist when it comes to payouts, when we're talking royalties and things like that, over on that side of things? Or is there still that similar war that you could say going on, trying to get more for the artist in that sense? Not necessarily for you, because you guys are trying to pull the money, you know, from the distributors over there. But are they paying out more than like a Spotify, or how does that kind of break down? Or is that, I know that's probably an open-ended question, but
yeah, well, I think what you got to do is realize that it is an emerging market, and so they still are not at the level of like the established music markets such as Europe and United States. It's really young, and you have to find a way to make it work. I think that there is huge potential, meaning that these new markets, and now I'm talking also about, say, like Africa as well. The majority of the world population, you know, lies in, say, these two continents, Asia, Africa, and also consider South America as well. Is you're going to have to look outside of your own home, and these populations will soon be the major consumers of, everything. So I think where maybe the amount of pay is not at the same level as these, you know, old established music markets, is that it'll make up in the numbers.
My next question, in terms of like your kind of future predictions for those markets in terms of like China, in terms of growth, because I personally, like, I notice a lot of things that are coming out there, like you just kind of stay in your own bubble for me sometimes. And you don't notice that, okay, like you're saying, like in Africa, there's people with millions of followers from there that you probably never heard of. Same with, you know, Latin America and all those areas that are growing. So with that, do you think obviously that presents opportunities all around? But how does that kind of play into what you guys are doing at Musicinfo, and what you kind of see moving forward, where things are going to go, whether that's with technology, you name it kind of thing.
Whether or not you're on board to expand your services into these emerging areas, I think that it's inevitable. And we want to take that initiative. Just recently, we now offer distribution to South Korea, and coming soon, I think in the next month or so, we will have distribution to Africa as well. And realizing too that people are generally lazy.
Yeah. Okay.
If everything was on one platform, it would be better than having two different platforms, right? So we
Right.
also want to, or looking into having a 360-degree distribution service so that people can come here and get their music to all the new markets, as well
Right.
as your Spotify, Amazon Music,
Right.
iTunes is like everyone else to the rest of the world. So
Right. Right.
that is the future of Musicinfo.
So you're starting on the other side of the coin as
Kind
opposed
of,
to,
yeah.
the other. Yeah. Yeah. But that's cool. I like that in terms of that approach, because I think there's a lot going on, like I said, and I just, even technology wise, and I mean, I've seen things where it's even not even an artist, like it's just like a hologram, or like I can't remember what the actual word is, where that's being promoted.
Mm-hmm.
So there's just a lot of different things that I think with the industry, it's going in a lot of different directions, and like you're saying, you kind of don't have a choice. So for someone who's just thinking locally, I mean, I think with the internet and now, you don't just need to be like, someone could be listening to your music anywhere in the world, and you can tap into those markets for sure. So but yeah, other than that, is there anything about Musicinfo that we missed that maybe we should have asked you? Or
Well, because we have been focusing on China, we have a very good connection to their services there. Now we also offer sync opportunities. So this is something that is really popular with musicians now, is that they want to get their music heard on movies, TV, ads, such as that. So yeah, if you want to have a better experience with your distribution, specifically with China, what I understand of anyone who has distributed the music through other distributors is that they don't really know what happens to the music once it gets to China. Maybe they have some number of streams, and maybe it shows the amount of royalties they get, if there are any. But other than that, it's kind of push the button and just see what happens. So
right.
Yeah, if you like to know more what's happening with your music in China, then you can see that your music is being played on all these services, and the amount of royalties that each service pays out. And once your music is distributed through us, is that you have these possibilities for like sync. If you have music that has been previously unreleased, new music is that you have the chance to get your music on banners, like on the streaming sites. So it's not just about adding a checkbox to your list of territories through your distributor.
Right.
That the service has a more value to your own music. I mean, musicians, they spend their whole life making music. So, why?
Right.
Yeah.
Is that something that's already out, that like if I were to use Musicinfo, I could tap into the sync type of thing? And is that something where it's not necessarily open to everybody? Like anyone can, be open to that opportunity, but is there a selection process that goes into that? Or
at the moment, no. It's
okay.
Anyone who distributes the music through us, then there's a sync opportunity.
Yeah, and I see what you're saying, because in terms of, you see some of these distributors, and you obviously notice, okay, they're distributing it to 300 DSPs or whatever, and you see that, oh, we also do distribution to China, right? So like I get what you're saying in a sense. It's just a checkbox, like, oh, okay, cool, it's there.
Yeah.
But you guys are trying to bring more transparency to actually what's going on in that market, and allowing artists to see the potential, I guess, in terms of opportunity there too.
Yeah.
Did you have anything else that you think that we missed here? Or
Nothing comes to mind. I covered the basics, and if anyone has any more questions, of course they can contact me directly, or come visit us.
Yeah, cool. And that's what I think I was gonna obviously ask is where people could connect with you specifically, and how they could get started with Musicinfo. Obviously, if they want to get started today.
Yeah, so come visit us at musicinfo.io. You can send me an email to yuri.kobayashi@musicinfo.io. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
Right. Well, it was a pleasure having you today, and I appreciate the chat, and I'm sure the audience does as well. So thank you once again.
Yes, thank you very much, Kevin.